in interesting times. This week's stories. In Maryland, the Aid to Humanity project brings sunshine to Temple Hills and reaches out to communities in Bogota, Colombia. In Canada, Toronto celebrates its 185th year. Plus, students and parents across the nation react to the college admissions scandal. And in California, soccer fans experienced the thrill at the LA Galaxy and Minnesota United match. Hello everyone, I'm Alan Baso-Yahe bringing you stories from around the globe. And this is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. The Iglesia Ni Cristo's Aid to Humanity Outreach Project continues. In Maryland, community members express how events like this change the narrative of today's society. Ace Ramirez with the story.
The sun is up, it's a perfect day to enjoy the outdoors. But members of the Church of Christ turn this clear, bright day into a more exciting one as they spread a different kind of sunshine.
Today we're having our International Aid to Humanity, which is happening worldwide. Today we are distributing some care packages that would help them with their everyday needs. And not only that, one of the other things we strive to do is to introduce the church to them and to share our values as members of the Church of Christ.
Actually, this is one of our first events that we had with the church and having an outreach with people coming in and getting free items. This is something first that I ever seen being here. I believe it's a good look on the community. It's helped bring people in and let people know, it's good things that's going on. You could get free items, you can learn about God. I think it's pretty good. I like it.
It makes me feel good because it's a lot of people here and we all fighting for all this. I'm tired of the killings. I'm tired of them being depressed all the time. When the government shut down, we lost a lot of money. A lot of people lost a lot of stuff. But coming to these events, bring your spirit back up. It help you. They willing to help us, to teach us. And it's a wonderful thing. I don't feel depressed. I don't feel hardship. I feel love.
I would say this helps to bring together communities. It's too much, right now it's a lot of divide in communities. There's a lot of disconnect between just the church and the community. A lot of times, churches, they're inside their building, they don't reach back out. So it's good to have events like this where you actually reach people in the community and actually reach back.
People come in, they know that they can get food or clothing or love or education about God and Jesus Christ and the world. And then we have a mixture of different races here. It's just a wonderful thing.
We want them to realize that there are people still in these times that are still ready and willing to do good to their fellow men and not asking anything in return. It is just our values as Christians to extend any kind of help possible to our fellow men.
In this day and age, a simple help from your fellow men is a great reminder that love of neighbor still exists. Reporting from Hillcrest Heights Community Center, for Eagle News, I'm Ace Ramirez, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Ace. We'll now take you to South America, where the same humanitarian effort helped families in Bogota. Community members expressed delight at an event they said gave them hope in these hard times. Eagle News correspondent Janica Peralta reports.
According to the reports of the statistics agency, Departamento Administrativo Nacional de Estadística, or DANE, although the poverty rates here in Colombia continued to drop in 2018, the nation's capital, Bogota, increased for the third year in a row, and the impoverishment is more than double than the United States. Responding to the needs of residents here in Bogota, be they spiritual, emotional, or material, the Iglesia Ni Cristo in this part of the world sponsored an evangelical mission and an Aid to Humanity event. People from different parts of Bogota, such as Bosa, Haijuelos, Salitre, Portal Tonal, Los Martires de Santa Fe, came hours prior to the set time in anticipation of how the event could help alleviate their situation. The event commenced with the preaching of God's words by Brother Edwin Peralta. Yes, Amparo Velasquez said she loves what was taught and appreciates that the church reaches out to people. Another attendee, a migrant from Venezuela, recalls how hard it is in his homeland and is thankful for the church's help to people here in Bogota. Bags filled with groceries and other daily essentials were distributed to dozens of families who attended the event. Reaching out to people in this time of hunger, conflicts, and divisiveness helps make our communities a little better. Reporting from Bogota, Colombia, I am Janica Peralta for Eagle News 1 with 25.
Thanks, Janica. When we come back, Toronto celebrates its 185th year. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will be back in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. In Canada, Toronto recently commemorated its 185th birthday. Eagle News correspondent Patricia Kadai takes us to the celebrations. Take a look.
Toronto may be lovingly called the Six, but our beloved city is 185 years old today. And this weekend, Torontonians are here at Nathan Phillips Square to celebrate the city's birthday, Toronto style, with food trucks, shopping, a day market, a live dance show, and did I mention food? The Celebrate Toronto Festival features about 30 local vendors, 12 food trucks, and live entertainment all through the day.
Celebrate Toronto, it's a nonprofit organization. Celebrate Toronto was started by Michaela Doria, who's the founder, and she started the organization to celebrate Toronto's birthday. So Toronto turned 185 this year.
There are on-site contests, interactive activities, and giveaways sponsored by local radio stations and companies. The festival features local artists, entertainers, and businesses, bringing the city together at the heart of downtown Toronto.
Toronto is my home. I mean, I've traveled through Europe and across the world, and there's no place like home. It's like wherever I go, my heart beats to you.
And this year, there is an open collection of food donation as the organizers partnered with Daily Bread Food Bank to help those who are in need. About 185 years ago, the city of Toronto was created through a legislative act separating Toronto from the town of York. Since then, the city has grown and merged with other nearby townships, becoming the city we all now know and love.
I hope to see a lot of my generation contribute to the betterment of the city, because it's a great city.
Today is a celebration of everything that has made Toronto what it is now. History, arts, music, food, culture, all brought together by the multiculturalism and diversity. This beautiful city, now 185, is still kicking, dancing, and growing. Happy 185th birthday, Toronto. For Eagle News, this is Patricia Kadai, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Patricia. Back in the US, a scandal surrounding admissions to prestigious colleges and universities broke last week, involving movie star parents, coaches, and school officials, just to name a few. During a briefing on a nationwide cheating scam involving 50 people, U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts Andrew Lelling said this is about deception and fraud, fake test scores, fake athletic credentials, fake photographs, and bribed college officials. Eagle News gathered some reactions from students and parents across the nation. Here's what they had to say.
If the parents are acting unethically, that's not a good tone to set for their children, and I feel like it's very disappointing that these parents think it's okay to use their money and power and prestige to make their kids believe that they can just pay off people to get what they want. In reality, these colleges have spent years and years building up their reputation. A lot of the colleges that these kids want to get into are renowned worldwide, so I don't see how this one incident could diminish the reputation of these colleges irreparably. It's not right that these people think that they could cheat the system even for a second and take away that spot from someone who worked hard and honestly to achieve success.
Personally, I'm not very surprised because, I mean, you've already heard stories of whose parents paid for a library to get them in. So, I mean, it's just a joke in our society that rich people just get the things that they want for their kids, which is not, I don't think it's the right way to do it, but I just think that in society, that's what we expect. I'm shocked personally that we're actually doing something about it, which that was what personally shocked me.
Infuriating and at the same time very disheartening, knowing that there's an easy way for parents to actually put their kids into college without actually understanding the hard work that many students have to actually apply for. There are some who will apply naturally, some that who don't actually have to apply, and others who have a very difficult time because either they're residents or non-residents. It's just very disheartening.
Some students actually work very hard and they just come in easy pass. It's not fair. It really isn't. Pretty much as they're saying like, oh, who cares about grades and how much you worked at? It's all about the money when it shouldn't be. Since majority of the schools are funded by organizations to promote the schools, and these parents are just coming in giving money without working. It's very unfair.
I believe yes. Yes, because they need to take responsibility, because if we're going to keep allowing this type of behavior and acceptability to continue, we shouldn't. We have to let every student know that everybody's here fairly in order to enroll into a school.
If they don't get, they're pretty much getting a slap on the back if they're like, oh yeah, only your parents are being accused and you're still going to school. That doesn't set well for many of the students who work very hard trying to get into these schools.
I think getting into college is already such a competitive field, so the fact that parents are doing this puts kids at a bigger disadvantage, especially those who may not be financially capable of even going to college. So I think it just puts kids at a harder position to get into college and makes it unfair. A part of college admissions is some schools claim to be financially blind. So I think the fact that they're accepting bribes kind of just diminishes that whole fact, because they are looking at people who have money and are taking that. So I think it does diminish college's credibility.
So that's unfair for the other kids that don't have parents that can have money to buy off the people in admissions. So, and it's harder for them to get in.
I find that really unfair, considering there are actually people out there working super hard to get to the specific GPA to get into a specific university, even though they sometimes struggle to even have the money for it.
It's probably one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard, but it's not so surprising if you look at the way people are treated and how classist the United States is, and how people with money, with parents who have more money are treated versus those that don't have the access to the same things that people who are affluent do. Yeah, they should be expelled because it's like you have no right to be there. It doesn't matter how much money you pay to go to school. You earn your way in like the rest of us. I have friends who had to do so much in order to get to the schools that they went to. Thank God they got them. I have my best friend. She graduated from Duke. And the process to get into that school was difficult. And she doesn't come from an affluent family. Like, it is beyond, they should be expelled. And like, honestly, why are you even, there's different college, people decide to go to the most expensive colleges because it's what's look good on paper. But if you can't get in, go somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with going to a regular institution.
That's very wrong, because coming from an immigrant family, my dad, he was not able to finish college, and he worked so that my mom could finish college. And they both worked very hard to have their kids get into college, finish college. And I mean, I know my parents would do anything for me to get into college. So, I mean, I have somewhat understanding for these parents wanting a good future for their kids, but at the same time, that's not the right way to do that, because that in itself is teaching a lesson to your kids that if you want something in life, you can do it in a way where you can cheat yourself into it, which is, I mean, obviously not appropriate.
I think it's truly unfair because there are many other students just like me that are working so much harder to get our proper education and to do the extra mile to actually apply into college ourselves. Many universities are hard to get into. So knowing the fact that this can happen says something about the many universities out there. So maybe with stricter policies and stricter ways of getting into the university itself, maybe it can help diminish that problem.
We should, sometimes you really like them to be there. And sometimes I guess, to the point that they have to cheat, to the point that they have to buy off in order for their children to be there. I don't think that's right. Because even though they were not caught and their kids are successful, I don't think you can be 100% happy because you cheated. Because as a parent, you have to set the standard. You have to tell them the right way how to get into the school. You need to work hard. You need to study hard. Because all these kids, there are a lot of kids who are very intellectual that they deserve to be in the school. And for a parent to cheat and you take the spot of their kids is not right.
It's very frustrating to see parents think that they can cheat a system because they have a lot of money, they have a lot of power, and they take advantage of that, and they basically stomp on other people and use Machiavellian techniques to get their children where they want them. And I'm very, very disappointed, and it needs to be stopped. I do believe that the children and the parents were all complicit to the same exact crime, and the parents need to be punished by whatever means that the law deems fit, and the children should be expelled.
When we come back, more reactions to the multi-million-dollar college admissions scam. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. This is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. I'm Alan Basoyahe. 50 people were indicted in a multi-million-dollar scam to help children of the American elite cheat their way into top universities. Federal prosecutors said the accused, including chief executives, financiers, a winemaker, and fashion designer, allegedly cheated in admissions tests or arranged for bribes to get their children into prestigious schools, including Yale, Stanford, Georgetown, and the University of Southern California. They paid a bogus charity run by Californian William Rick Singer millions, both to arrange for people to fix SAT and ACT entrance exams for their children, and also to bribe university administrators and sports coaches to recruit their children, even when the children were not qualified to play university-level sports. Students and parents from across the nation expressed frustration and dismay, saying those involved in this scam have taken away from the other truly deserving students the chance at a good education.
Like people who had someone else take their SAT, like there's no way you can't know about that. Or some people had paid people to go take high school classes for them. Like there's no way you can't know about that. So I think they should definitely be expelled because they lied on their application. Like they knowingly lied. Like that's not a small thing. That's like a pretty big deal. So I would think it's justified for them to be expelled.
But just straight up cheating and not pushing them to do their abilities academically, then it's not fair to other students who don't have that financial stability from their parents to be able to put you to school, not just based off your test scores, but just sliding it under the table and paying it to them. That's not fair to all the other students.
I think that takes away from a lot of other people's efforts when they work hard to get to where they're at, and when their parents just buy them in, then it's not really worth it.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, but it's still abhorrent. As far as that's concerned, it should be an equal process. You should have an equal opportunity to get in. And yeah, I'm like, if you have assets though, I guess make use of them, but not in that sense at all.
I do blame the parents, and I think that's I know they want what's best for their child, but at the same time, I feel sorry for the children themselves, just because they may not actually be confident in themselves, knowing that they got in on the merit of their parents paying for them.
Of course, every parent wants the best for their children, but to some extent, it may seem like they're more concerned about status and prestige over, what is ethically moral. In their efforts to give their children a better future, they kind of hurt it at the same time.
I don't think it's right. But I also think there's a lot of injustices in the world, and this is just one of them that we're choosing to focus on. I don't think that what they did is right in any way, shape, or form, but in their defense, I don't think that they understood the gravity of what they were doing. For someone who has so much money to be told, I can pay a small price and more or less guarantee my child's success, I can see the motivations, but again, it is not right.
I feel that it's very corrupt. It just corrupts the entire system, from those who work hard, those parents who labor so hard so that they can have a means to put their children into further education, and also those children who also have to work in addition to what their parents labor for to put themselves into college. And also it also corrupts the system of the credibility of the admissions of each school. So basically it's saying if you have if the more money you have, the better chances you have to get into college. So does that disregard those people who worked hard studying? Does it disregard those people who are more intelligent than those who have more money than them? So it just kind of makes it's very contradicting, and it really contradicts a lot of the system to get in the process to get into colleges.
On a happier note, soccer fans experienced the thrill at an LA Galaxy and Minnesota United match. Here's the story.
Since '96 is the ongoing slogan of the LA Galaxy.
It's a catchy phrase, signifying the team's permanency in Major League Soccer since 1996. To celebrate the club's 24th season, the first 10,000 fans to tonight's match will receive a Since 96 scarf.
It's great to wear, and even better as a napkin, in case you get a little pork belly and gravy on your face while grubbing on the LA Galaxy nacho of the match. Dear Los Angeles, you're welcome.
He's just joking. Don't use it as a napkin.
For those who don't know, the "you're welcome" remark was me quoting a newspaper ad taken out by the Galaxy's Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he joined the team.
But with the star forward out due to injury, how will LA fare against a newly sacked defense at Minnesota United? Anyway, you stack it, Galaxy fans. We're not to be discouraged.
We're all very excited. We came out here to have a great night and see Galaxy take a win tonight.
Second home game of the season, so we're trying to recoup from our last weekend. Minnesota's on a hot streak right now, so we're hoping we can defeat them while they're on this hot streak, and I think we can do it.
Well, we're hoping to win LA Galaxy. We're probably going to win 5-0.
Well, we're LA fans, so anything LA we root for. The other teams don't matter. LA is number one.
We came 3 hours down up north, like 3 hours from Lompoc, California.
Oh, yep. 3 scarves for big fans. Yeah, so we're excited for today.
A lot of countries come together, and it doesn't matter what race, color, or language you speak, we all play the same sport.
Soccer actually in the United States is still growing. It's still kind of like an under the radar sport, but when you get to these soccer communities, it's actually one of the biggest things you can possibly be a part of. It's definitely a big, gigantic family, and I, would love it to my dying days. So, join the soccer community. It's one of the most welcoming, best communities you can possibly be a part of.
The LA Galaxy looked to push the pace early and often, driving the ball on the visiting team's side for most of the first half. Their aggression resulted in 2 first-half goals, with Jonathan Dos Santos scoring on a penalty kick at minute 36, and Chris Pontius deflecting an on-target pass from Rolf Felcher to make it 2-0 in the 40th minute of play. In the 74th minute, Jan Gregush launches the ball almost 25 yards to record Minnesota's first goal of the contest. But just 6 minutes later, number 18, Oriol Antuna, would deliver the ball out on the wing to a waiting Sebastian Lidget, who taps in the goal, making the score 3-1.
By number 17, Sebastian.
Minnesota would score one last time at the 87th minute mark, but this would prove insufficient for the comeback. The Galaxy edges out the win over Minnesota United, final score of 3-2. Despite giving up a pair of goals, Coach Barros Queloto was pleased with the win and how his team performed without Ibrahimovic.
Fair for the team was really good. I'm very happy. I'm very happy for the result, for the game, because we play really good. I don't like give 2 goals, but in the end, I think we play really good today.
Like I said, they outnumbered their midfield and caused a lot of problems for them.
How about Sebastian? Scored a goal, played without the mask, but he discarded it after what, about a minute?
Yeah, I don't know when he threw it off, but it's a big goal, especially when they get that second goal. So there's a little bit of insurance for us and happy for the kids.
Can you talk about the job Jonathan Santos did today?
Yeah, no, he was fantastic. I mean, honestly, he's such a great player. He was a good leader for us. He's playing that 6th role. And he gets the ball in difficult areas, and he starts the attack for us. And he's got the guts to do it. He's got the skills. And he makes our life easier.
The 2019 regular season just started. So, despite getting the win tonight, LA knows that now is the time to dig in and focus.
No doubt they'll try to carry that focus with them as they get ready to host their next opponent, the Portland Timber.
Reporting from Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, this is Eva and Alan for Eagle News, and we are 1 with 25.
Scarves are definitely not meant to be used as napkins. Well, that is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Join us again next week for stories from our bureaus across the nation and around the globe. Visit our websites at Eaglenews.PH and Eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Basiaje. I am 1 with 25.